I'm Carol Ann Riddell, and this is Science and You. We're here at Asphalt Green, a Manhattan mecca for sports and fitness. Some of us watch sports for the pure pleasure of competition, while others marvel at the way athletes push their bodies to the limits of physical ability. But do you ever ponder the science behind all that? We begin today with this question: what do Sir Isaac Newton and wrestling have in common? Tina Beth Pina has the answer.
I bet you didn't know Sir Isaac Newton's 3 laws of motion play a major role in wrestling. In fact, without these laws, it would be nearly impossible to wrestle.
I think it's cool that even something as easy as just sports or wrestling in general could be broken down to a science to make it that much more cool and interesting to learn about.
Dean's a member of Beat the Streets, a wrestling club that helps New York City kids fulfill their athletic and academic potential. Today, the coaches demonstrate how wrestling and science go hand in hand.
Beat the streets on 3, 1, 2, 3, beat the streets!
It actually helps you learn the move better, honestly, because when you're thinking about that stuff, you think, oh, I need to jump and gravity will pull me back down, but you have to time it right so they don't sweep your foot. So it's all these little things that you gotta think about while you're wrestling, but it also relates to that science part of it.
Since wrestling is mostly based on physics, Sir Isaac Newton could have easily been talking about the 3 laws of wrestling when he discovered the 3 laws of motion.
A lot of wrestling is pushing and pulling and a lot of motion going into wrestling. If you shoot on someone or try to take someone's leg down and there's no motion going on, they're just going to be able to fall on you. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So if you push on someone and they push back into you, that's how you can create motion. You can get your takedowns and things like that.
Every action having an equal and opposite reaction is one of Newton's 3 laws of motion. Another one is the law of inertia, or when an object in motion stays in motion unless acted upon by an outside force.
How does that work in wrestling?
There's a move called an arm drag, where someone's pushing back into you and you kind of step out of the way, kind of like a bull when you have the curtain up and you go out of the way, they keep going. So there's a move like that where you kind of trip them as you arm drag and they keep going and they fall on their face because you trip their legs. So their body keeps going because there's nothing stopping them. So you were there at one point and then when you go away, they keep going.
Newton's second law of motion, force equals mass times acceleration, is another major factor in wrestling.
The heavier a person is, if you keep going with all your force, they're going to go over, like we're going to go over gut wrenches today, and you want to expose their back as best you can. When you do that, you keep going, and if you're heavier and you have enough force going straight on, they tend to go over a lot better than if you're a little lighter and you don't have enough force going together. So the more mass and the more acceleration going forward, the easier it is to take them over.
In addition to Newton's 3 laws of motion, gravity also plays an important role in wrestling.
Gravity is obviously, it's always there. So when you're wanting to take someone down and when you're wanting to get them to the mat, gravity's on your side as long as you use it to your advantage. So I guess when you have a leg up in the air and you lift it high up and they keep falling, you want them to fall to the ground. So you just have to kind of help with that by sweeping out their leg or doing something. But it always plays in a factor in a sport where you're trying to get someone down to the ground.
Friction, does that come into play?
When we do our gut wrenches, there's a lot of, you're sliding someone across the mat, so there's a lot of friction. So that can help you at times and hurt you at times. And also when someone's in on a shot and they're trying to take you down, we preach that you have to keep your toes down because they slide better, and if your toes are up, then you get friction going backwards and they push into you. So
from friction to gravity to the laws of motion, science and wrestling are clearly working together, both on the mat and off.
It's actually the exact unit we're doing right now, the laws of motion and all that stuff. So it's good to relate it to something that I like to do.
Sweep single, if I'm pulling him towards me and then I'm pushing him away, that's actually a sort of science, and that's pretty cool because I really don't do good in science in school. So for me to be able to do it on the mat, it's pretty cool.
I'm Tina Beth Pina for Science and You.
Whether you play golf or just enjoy watching it, you've seen lots of changes in the game over the last few years. Donna Hanover tells us about the science of golf.
The United States Golf Association, the USGA, has created videos that show how it monitors and governs scientific changes in golf equipment. And coaches like Bobby Hines, a champion player and head pro at the Old Oaks course in Purchase, New York, says there have been many.
The biggest thing is the golf ball and the golf club have evolved in the last 20 years substantially.
One of the most thrilling moments in golf is the first shot off each tee, usually with a large club called a driver. That club head and some others were originally made of wood.
Here's a Tommy Armour, probably the best of its time in its day, 50s, 60s, 70s. As you can see, quite a difference in the size of the head. It's 2.5 times. This is made out of titanium. Okay, it's actually hollow inside. It's made actually of a metal piece, and then it's molded to the back piece. They worked with Boeing for this particular golf club to get the aerodynamics right. If you hit a little off the sweet spot on this wood, the club twists. On these, it's much less. You have a larger area that you can hit the ball on, and much more forgiving. When you do mishit it, it doesn't spray off into the trees quite as easily.
As the club heads got larger, the shafts got longer and now are mostly made of graphite.
So considerably lighter, which means they can move it a lot faster.
What is the benefit of that?
More speed, farther the ball's going to go. Pure and simple.
The USGA stepped in to stop club heads from getting even larger, testing them at their research and test center in New Jersey. They even use a principle discovered in ancient Greece by Archimedes about displacement in liquid to make sure club heads don't go over the set volume. They also regulate the modern driver's trampoline effect, which happens because the metal club head pieces bend back at impact and then recover, imparting more force to the ball.
The USGA made a rule about the coefficient of restitution, believe it or not, that's the name of it, the spring effect, and they put a limit on that to control the distance the ball will go.
Golf balls have changed too. At first they were made of wood, then feathers covered with leather, then tree sap. In the modern 1900s, the ball had a core with rubber bands tightly wound over it and a cover. Sometimes heat or use caused these balls to lose their roundness so they didn't roll smoothly. The newest golf balls are made with layers of different synthetic materials and rarely lose their shape. They can bore through the wind on long shots and land softly when players chip onto the green and putt.
What they've done is they started to soften these cores, and now the ball stays on the face on the shorter shots a little bit. And I think it's been a big improvement, and I think it'll continue that way.
The USGA tests golf balls for size, weight, and distance by launching them at speeds up to 200 miles an hour through a 70-foot corridor lined with sensors. The balls are allowed to have different dimple patterns, which affect the airflow around the ball, reducing drag and increasing lift to help its flight.
Golf courses have advanced and become longer. Architects have designed them more difficult.
Many holes now have more distance to cover than in the past. There are also more sand bunkers, more water hazards, and tougher putting greens.
They've put more roll on the greens, so it's harder to make the putt because there's more break or more of a challenge, more downhill or uphill speed to contend with.
That brings up other scientists important to golf. Agronomists study the best turf and grasses, which helps course superintendents keep putting greens healthy and improve water conservation. Grass can actually be a negative factor for players. Scientists design groove patterns for clubs so grass fibers and their moisture can flow away, allowing a cleaner strike between the club face and the ball. That's vital for imparting spin so a ball will land and stick or even roll back toward the hole. These days, golfers use smartphone cameras and apps and even high-speed cameras to study the physics in their golf. They get more centripetal force, which makes an object move in a curved motion by using longer clubs. They try to stay smooth through the double pendulum effect with the pivots at their shoulders and wrists. And with the turning of their hips and shoulders, they apply torque to the club to get speed and power. Bobby Hines sometimes gives players a chance to step back into the Jack Nicklaus, Lee Trevino era with the 70s driver.
Beautiful. Well, maybe you could have been a player back then.
Whatever the modern changes, Hines says, the last moments on a golf hole are always going to be challenging.
It's still pretty hard to shoot par or under.
Yes, because the hole is only 4 1/4 inches.
So science is doing a great deal to give golfers more power and precision, but the challenge is still quite intense. A human being trying to send a little white ball hundreds of yards into a very tiny cup. I'm Donna Hanover for Science and You.
take away Hank Aaron's 755 home runs, and he still had roughly 3,000 hits during his career. Mike Gilliam visits the Elias Sports Bureau to find out just how statistics like that one are recorded.
When you pick up a newspaper or watch a baseball game on TV, a lot of the content revolves around statistics. And for decades, that information has been gathered here at the Elias Sports Bureau in Midtown Manhattan. Elias is a New York-based sports information company that maintains all of the records in their electronic and hard copy files.
New York-based sports information company that is the source for most of the statistics, and especially all of the historical statistics that North American sports fans would see. We're the official statisticians for Major League Baseball, the National Football League, National Basketball Association, National Hockey League, Major League Soccer, the Women's NBA, WNBA, and we have all in our files really records of all of the games that have ever been played in all those sports.
At the game site, they provide the information, some of it obscure, that adds context to what's happening on the field.
The first two batters in the game both hit triples. We get a question, when's the last time that happened? We look it up and tell our clients, and everybody goes home happy.
Hurt loves this stuff. He says he came to Elias right after he graduated from Fordham University in the early 1970s, and he's been there ever since. He's worked on Monday Night Football for 34 years at the game sites alongside some of the heavyweights in sports broadcasting, including Howard Cosell.
How many times you're watching a sports event and you see something, you're like, boy, I wonder when the last time that happened was. When we get that same question in our head, we just walk to our computer and find out, oh, okay, 22 years ago.
So, how do they do it?
A lot of redundancy, a lot of slogging through old games and putting them in a computer and making sure that all the data there is right, because you never know what you're going to have to call on at a moment's notice, and you don't want to be halfway through and think, oh, I don't even know if this stuff is right. No, once it's in our computers, we can be confident that it's right.
Hurt says it's really amazing how documented all of the games in sports are. There are some holes in the ancient accounts of games, but still enough information to paint a pretty good picture of player performances. How do you guys get the information?
There is an individual, an official scorer, sometimes a scoring crew, at each game in the NFL, in the NBA, in baseball, and in the National Hockey League, soccer. And they record in different manners, but they record everything that moves on the field or on the ice or on the court, and we get that transmitted to us.
That all goes into the Elias files, files that go back quite a few years.
In the case of baseball, our oldest sport, it goes back to the year 1876, the year of Custer's last stand. In fact, when people talk about modern baseball history, it means since 1900. It's actually defined as since 19, that's modern in baseball history.
Goal line defense for the Vikings, a handoff Dorsett up the middle, here he goes.
Being able to come up with the stats immediately is very important. Hurt points to a record-breaking 99-yard run by Dallas Cowboys running back Tony Dorsett on Monday Night Football.
I say to our director, tell Cosell it's the longest run in the history of the league.
Tony Dorsett is in the record books.
And my producer is yelling in my ear, but is it a Monday night record? So I'm thinking, yeah. What part of the history of the league was unclear?
The stats that are being collected are changing a bit. In baseball, they're using different types of algebra to tweak the numbers and sharpen them.
The second type of new data that's coming in all the sports is movement and velocity data, where it's actually what I call the technique of how you play. The Yankee outfielder recently threw the ball over 100 miles an hour and trying to throw a runner out at the base, and so that was the fastest since they've been recording it since the beginning of last year.
That data is much more scientific, and its use is yet to be determined. Getting the actual players and managers to embrace the numbers was at times more of a challenge. But years ago, it worked when Billy Martin returned to manage the Yankees at a time when Elias was already supplying the ball club with stats.
Billy Martin was one of those guys who was kind of an old school, I've got it all right up here in the old noodle type of guy. And, you know, he thought, oh boy, he's just going to ignore what we have. Well, his first week back, they're playing a game in Texas against the knuckleball pitcher Charlie Huff. And he had a guy on his team, Ron Hassey, who barely played. He was a backup catcher, but who had a career batting average over 300 against Charlie Huff. So not only does he play him that night, he puts him in the cleanup spot in the batting order, in the fourth spot. He goes 4 for 4 with 4 RBIs against Charlie Huff and leads the Yankees to the victory. And after the game, people are saying, how in the world did you do that? You sit down Dave Winfield and Don Baylor and you put Ron Hassey batting fourth? And he says, yeah, well, you know, everybody sort of knows he hits that knuckleball pitcher pretty well. I remember thinking, wow, he did look at the reports. If we've got Billy Martin, that's a sign of progress. And that progress has sort of continued from that day to this.
And that same sort of thing has happened over the years in all of sports, with teams embracing statistical information. In the meantime, the people here at Elias say they will continue to document all the games, giving the teams, the leagues, and fans drop-dead accurate statistics that they can use to keep the games in perspective. I'm Mike Gilliam for Science and You.
Tennis rackets have gotten lighter, strings have changed, and that barely scratches the surface of a game that relies heavily on science. Oh, and tennis court surfaces, they're different now too. Ernabel DeMillo explains.
Have you ever wondered how the best tennis players can hit the ball so hard and keep it in the court? That's the science of a topspin, and Rafael Nadal's topspin is considered the best in the world. His topspin, at more than 90 miles per hour, averages 3,200 revolutions per minute, as high as 4,000. In comparison, a very good recreational player averages much as 2,000 RPM, according to experts.
The way that top players are able to manage the amount of spin relative to the speed of their racket and the height over the net, they're able to do it incredibly accurately. So, you know, it seems like they make it look so easy, but it's pretty much a pretty sophisticated activity that's going on there between the racket and the ball and, of course, the athlete.
Like most sports involving a ball, knowing a little physics can help your game. Okay, so you probably won't be able to play like Nadal or these pros, but next time you're on the court for some recreational tennis, you may be able to come out victorious by knowing a little physics. To learn more about the science behind the game, we traveled to Randall's Island, home of the John McEnroe Tennis Academy, where they are training the next generation of tennis players. On any given day, you'll see young players here hoping to one day be this guy, John McEnroe. We spoke to Lawrence Klager, the director of tennis.
Can science help me become a better tennis player?
Definitely. There's 5 dimensions in sport. Most players, recreational players, think there's 2. You either hit it to the left or to the right. But there's really 5 dimensions of the ball. There's height, speed, spin, depth, and direction. And great players are able to combine all those things to construct points and play points such that, you know, they can win.
Tennis players, whether they know it or not, are always thinking about physics.
Science, the physics of it, comes into play all the time. Pretty much with a top player, every single ball they strike, there's some subconscious consideration of the physics. They don't say, okay, I'm going to put 16 revolutions per second on this ball, but they say, okay, in this ball I need to hit a lot of spin, or in this ball, if I want to get it past him, I have to hit it a little faster, so I have to maybe get the racket speed going a little bit more. Or if I have my opponent really far back in the court, maybe I'm going to try to take the pace off the ball and hit it short.
The modern tennis game moves faster than ever. Yes, the athletes are bigger and faster, but they also have science and technology helping them out. For instance, string material has made a big difference.
Most of the top players now are using string that's basically polyester. And it's a synthetic string that it's sort of coated in a way such that when you hit a ball, the strings do not move. When the strings move, they come right back to their position. So it sort of allows you to sort of hit the ball with a lot of pace, but also enough spin to control the ball.
Just imagine the string almost biting into the ball. This helps topspin. Topspin is when ball travels in an arc when hitting from low to high. Then the friction of the ball on the strings puts spin on it. So today's power hitters can hit the ball harder than ever while keeping the ball in play.
Players are able to generate racket speed, that's actually faster than it used to be. So that combined with the ability to get more spin makes it very, very difficult to play the net because the ball is coming so fast and dropping so fast. It's just very hard to deal with.
It's changed modern tennis, and one reason why Klager says you don't see too many pros playing at the net. To help slow the game down, tennis surface has also changed. Even the grass length at Wimbledon is different.
The grass at Wimbledon is now different and the ball's bouncing higher. It's not staying as low. And hard courts in a lot of venues now are a little bit slower. They texture it a little bit so that there's more play, that the points don't end so quickly.
Along with grass and the hard courts, there are clay courts like the famous red clay at the French Open, and synthetic clay courts like this one at the McEnroe Academy called Hartrue. And just like the red clay, it changes the speed of the ball.
The bounce is sort of slower because obviously there's granules, so the ball bounces and bites into the surface more. So that slows the bounce down a little bit, also makes the ball bounce a little higher. And it's also softer on your feet. So for older players, they're able to play a lot longer on a Hartrue court than they would if they had to pound on the hard court.
So no matter what surface you're playing on, how do you know you're hitting the ball just right? Well, just listen. You can hear it.
You always hear the sound of the ball hitting the center of the racket, the sweet spot. Matter of fact, a lot of times people will be up here on the balcony and they'll listen, people playing, and all of a sudden you're going to hear a pop, a little different than you heard. And then you look over and it's maybe two of our, players on the tour. Every ball is just being, right dead center and sounds different. Very clean and crisp because every single time they're right on the sweet spot.
So they offer year-round tennis here at the John McEnroe Tennis Academy, so you may want to try out your moves now that you have science behind you. I'm Ernabelle DeMillo for Science in You.
From dry land to water, swimming involves much more than just jumping into the deep end of the pool. We came here to Asphalt Green to learn more. This may look like a swimming pool, but it's also something of a science lab, where swimmers and their coaches study principles like force, motion, and drag in the constant quest for faster, more effective movement.
Water's not a medium that we were born to be efficient in, so it's something that's a constant struggle for athletes, and as they are looking for that 1/100th of a second, sometimes it's very much like where you're placing your hand or where it is that you're pulling from, where you're initiating the pull. From a very, very young age, from our 7, 8, 9-year-olds, we spent a lot of time just teaching them to use the water effectively, how to use their center of buoyancy, how to make sure that they're positioned correctly in the pool so that they can be, reducing drag and also be able to set good enough levers to be able to pull through the water.
David Rodriguez is the head coach at Asphalt Green Unified Aquatics and a self-proclaimed swim nerd who can cite many examples of the science behind the sport.
Thinking about when they set their arms in the water or when they're pulling through the water, they're creating a propulsive force. The big thing that we talk about is a high elbow catch in freestyle. So they're looking to get their elbow up and create as much surface area with their forearm as they can, so they can use the larger back muscles to create that force and that propulsion through the body.
We watched this science lesson in action, swimmers moving through the water attached to weights.
We're looking for specific applications of power to the pool. So we have power racks that we use where we throw weights into a bucket, and the athlete actually wears a harness or a belt and swims against the weights.
At highly competitive levels, fractions of a second can make a difference in the pool. So understanding the intricacies of how our bodies function in water becomes crucial.
Taking a lot of strokes is not necessarily better than taking less amount of strokes, but with more power.
Beyond understanding the science of swim, there is experimenting with it. In this case, following nature's lead.
One of the new things that we're working on is developing something that's called a fish kick. So we've actually had our athletes, instead of having them facing the bottom of the pool, they've actually turned their hips, and their hips are perpendicular to the bottom of the pool. So their movement will emulate that of a fish, you know, preferably big game fish like a tuna or something like that, where it's really from the lower body down to the tail.
So how did that come about?
I mean, I guess similar to many scientists, lots of trial and error.
That's our show for today. Join us next month for an in-depth look at water. It's all around us and all important to our survival. We'll tell you how climate change is affecting that. I'm Carol Ann Riddell. Thanks for joining us for Science and You.